The Chinese Communist Party is determined to transform the international order, to shape the world in its own image, without a shot being fired. Rather than challenging from the outside, it has been eroding resistance to it from within, by winning supporters, silencing critics, and subverting institutions. As analysts on both sides of the Atlantic continue to agonize over whether to label China an opponent or even an enemy, the CCP decided this matter 30 years ago. In the post-Soviet world, it saw itself surrounded by enemies that it needed to defeat or neutralize. While the CCP and its supporters in the West like to speak of a new Cold War being waged against China, the party itself has all along been engaged in an ideological struggle against what it thinks of as hostile forces. For the CCP, the Cold War never ended. The reshaping of alliances and the remolding of the way the world thinks are essential to the party securing continued rule at home as well as to its reach abroad, and eventually making China the #1 global power. The party's plans have been explained at length in speeches and documents. Its implementation strategy is to target elites in the West so that they either welcome China's dominance or accede to its inevitability, rendering resistance futile. In some nations, mobilizing the wealth and political influence of the Chinese diaspora, while at the same time silencing critics within it, is central to the strategy. Backed by its enormous economic clout, China engages in arm-twisting, diplomatic pressure, united front and friendship work, and the manipulation of media, think tanks, and universities. All these tactics overlap and reinforce each other. Some people claim that Beijing's influence around the world is no different to that of any other country. While not everything the party does is unique, the scope, degree of organization, and eagerness to use coercion distinguish the CCP's actions from other nations' diplomatic activities. As the world's largest factory and second biggest economy, China has been a magnet for Western businesses and many Western politicians. Some industries are heavily dependent on access to China's huge market, and Beijing is willing to use this dependence as a political weapon. In the words of one close observer, if you don't do what Beijing's political leaders want, they will punish you economically. They put the economic vice on politicians around the world. They have been doing it for years, and it works.